Yeah, what's up, you gremlins? Welcome to the Bruce Oldham MMA YouTube channel. This is the first episode. Some of you guys may know me. First of all, today we're going to break down the UFC fight night in Saudi Arabia, and it is going to be Adesanya versus Imavov, and it should be a really sick event, a really sick card. And before we dive too deep into it, some of you guys may know me from, skiing or the other YouTube channel and all that stuff. I'm a professional freestyle skier. It's what I do full time, but I also train MMA like 3 times a week whenever I'm home, or 3 times a day. Stupid. 3 times a day whenever I'm home. I have some amateur fights, and I really like it. I really enjoy it. And my goal is, when I'm done with my freestyle skiing career, to see how far I can take it professionally in mixed martial arts. And the shit is dope. It's just a really fun sport. It's like the purest form of competition, and I absolutely love it. And for that reason, I figured instead of just watching all the hooligans, it's pretty much just a cult YouTube channel of what I follow now. I drive to the ski hill, I drive to training, I drive to the grocery store, I walk down the elevator, I'm listening to Guru, maybe I'm listening to Lucas Tracy, who knows, maybe I'm listening to Bedtime MMA. All those guys put out some great videos, and I figured instead of just, absolutely just consuming and dousing content on MMA, I might as well create some of my own, because I do have a little bit of knowledge in there, and I have been training for at least 5-6 years pretty actively, and I do have some fights, and I'm not great, but I'm pretty good for how long and how much I've been training. So anyways, with that being said, this is going to be the first video. We're going to do some actual training videos and stuff like that as well, but I like doing the predictions and breakdown videos and all that stuff as well. I think it's really fun. It's what I like to watch when I'm on YouTube, so I figured I would make it for you guys. So we're going to do a prediction / breakdown of the main card for UFC Fight Night Saudi Arabia at the Riyadh Arena. Well, whatever the heck you want to call it, all that stuff. It's a little above my head and above my pay grade. But we're basically just going to run through a couple fights and the main card because, there's a lot of people in here. I'm not, very upbeat with who they are. I haven't watched them fight. So, and that's just partly me not being in the sport quite long enough. And I don't really have a lot of time to go research every single person's fight before a video like this. So basically, we're going to start things off with a female flyweight bout. We have Jasmine Jasudavicius versus Maio Silva. I don't like Maio Silva's face. Just kidding. But I have watched some of her fights. Her grappling is, it's good. She's a little bit of a weight bully, even up the weight class, but she's at flyweight now. And I don't know. Does she probably out grapple her and out, just muscle her based on size and just being thick built? Maybe. But Jasmine Jasudavicius is actually a very skilled fighter, and she's been on quite the win streak lately. And she's Canadian. So my first bet is going to go on her. First pick is going to go on her. I think that she's just going to get it done via decision. Unless Maio Silva comes in overweight and just takes the fight anyways overweight and just weight bullies the hell out of her. It's possible. Coming up, Terrence McKinney versus Damir Hadzovic. I haven't watched Damir fight. Terrence McKinney is quite talented. However, he does get chinned a lot. But I think he's just going to, outclass him for sure. Shamil Gaziev. I haven't watched, I've watched him. I almost wish I haven't. But no, he's honestly better than Thomas Peterson. So we're just going to, it is what it is. He's going to beat Thomas Peterson more than likely. And then Khan Offley versus Mohamed Namaev. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce the last name, but obviously Mohamed is definitely the more on paper skilled fighter, and definitely a little bit bigger. He's going to have a weight advantage, size advantage over Khan. I watched Khan Offley on the UFC. On the UFC Ultimate Fighter. He is a really good fighter. I think he's very skilled. I think his grappling is really good. And off just wanting short guys to win alone, because I'm a hobbit myself, I'm going to go with him. However, I do think there's a good possibility that he doesn't quite... I think he has the technique to take him out, to win a decision against him. I don't think he's going to finish him, but to win a decision against him, I think he does have the technique. I just don't know if he has quite the size. But I do think I'm going to go with him. All right, coming up into the main card, we got Mike Davis versus Faraz Ziam. Up first, I think Mike Davis is going to win. I follow him on Instagram. I've been keeping up with what he's been doing, but the dude is very technical, and he's good all around, super well-rounded. I think he's gonna get it done. Weight cock fight. What the heck? I'm on the official UFC page right now. It says weight cock fight. I don't know what that means. Interesting. But basically, we got Said Nurmagomedov versus Vinicius Oliveira. Vinicius Oliveira is good. He's good striking. He's been finishing people. I watched a couple of his fights. I watched the one fight where he flying kneed the guy. And honestly, he did look very good in that fight. But he was kind of losing up until that point. And I think somebody that's just a little bit more technical than him, I think they're gonna end it. Not end it, but like I think they're gonna, be able to control him a little bit. I can see him doing something wild and maybe getting a finish, but I feel like Said's pretty on top of what he needs to do to stay safe throughout the entirety of 15 minutes. And he's got really, really good grappling, wrestling submission. So if he does try to shoot him, which I don't think he will, he can definitely submit him that way. And his striking is quite good as well. My only thing is he is kind of, they're both tall, skinny guys, but Said's pretty, he's kind of a lanky Lankster. So who knows? But I do think he's going to get it done. Up next, we got Sergei Pavlovich versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Dude, honestly, I got Sergei Pavlovich right off the bat. I don't rate both of their striking that much. I think their striking is, it's good. It's kind of just heavyweight striking, a lot of times when you watch people at heavyweight striking, the technique is not great. I generally believe that, anybody who wants to be a professional athlete and you're over 200 whatever pounds you need to be, dude, go train for 5 years and you'll be in the UFC, probably in the top 10 in the heavyweight division if you're at least relatively athletic. Anybody that's that weight that's played a professional sport before, maybe basketball, soccer, whatever, it doesn't matter, football, any kind of professional sport before like that, and you put 5 serious years of training in there, you'll be top 10 probably in the UFC. In my opinion, I just think most of the people that are up there are very unathletic, minus the once you get to the top 10, yeah, they're generally actually pretty good. But below that, it's very, very, it's not great. And if you have any kind of cardio or abs, you're probably set. Jairzinho Rozenstruik's supposed to be amazing at kickboxing. I've watched him. He's a good kickboxer, but not amazing. He's not Cyril Gahn level. I don't think he's Alexander, not Volkanovski, whatever, you know what I mean? The really tall dude. I don't know why I can't pronounce his last name right now, but I don't think he's at that level of striking, definitely not Tom Aspinall level of striking. And Sergei Pavlovich, both of them hit hard, but Sergei, I think he's got a little bit better boxing, and I think he's just a little bit better, more technical all around, and I do think he's going to finish the fight. I don't really see it, I hate to say, it's not possible for it to go to a decision. I just don't see it going to a decision. It could, if they're both just being super cautious. Sergei's been knocked out the last couple of fights, so maybe he's going to be cautious. It's not really his normal style typically, so I'm not expecting to see that, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. I do think it's going to end in a finish, probably I would say second or early third round, late second, early third round TKO or KO. Up next, we have a combat medium weight fight. Obviously, Shara Magomedov, Shara Bullet, and Michael Venom Page. This is an exciting fight because Michael Venom Page versus Shara is just, you think strikers match up, strikers delight, but probably we'll see. Maybe it's going to be the Ian Gary fight where it's not really that sick, or Kevin Holland versus Michael Venom Page where it's also not really that sick, but who knows? We'll have to watch the fight to see. I do like how active Michael Venom Page has been in the UFC. When he was coming over from Bellator, I was like, oh man, I hope we get to see more than 1 or 2 fights from this guy, kind of just coming over for the clout of being in the UFC, getting a couple fights and, just chilling 1 fight a year. But he's been decently active, which is really nice. Because I do really like his fights. They're entertaining, they're fun to watch. However, man, the output is freaking low, dude. I feel like somebody like Michael Venom Page, if you just up the output, just doubled the output, he would be a lot harder to beat for a lot of these guys. It's a lot of the counter strikers. I find even in the gym when you train with them, a lot of people don't like to counter strike or wait for the perfect moment. Sometimes they just let fights get away from themselves, and sometimes you just need to be somebody like Marab where you just output the shit out of somebody and just overwhelm them. And that's kind of what I see with Shara Magomedov, is he just has way more output than Michael Venom Page. I can't say. I was gonna say I don't rate his striking. I think his striking is very good. It would be stupid of me to say I don't rate his striking. His striking is good. He has a lot of the kicks and stuff he does are very don't want to say fully karate-esque, but a little bit, where they're very like flicky. They don't have that, Muay Thai thud that you would get out of like a lot of other people's kicks. However, they are fast, they are quick, they're straight to the target. And he does some goofy aha shit that absolutely works. And I love doing that kind of stuff in training in the gym. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But, I mean, he makes it work. He really does. But I generally, like, when I see a fight, not his last fight where he double spinning back fist the guy, which was absolutely insane. But the fight before that where he's fighting another, supposedly, like, okay or, like, equal level striker, possibly. It was good. Like, obviously, he TKO'd him. But it was like... I wasn't like really impressed. I wasn't watching his striking like, oh my God, this guy's going to be like, he's the next best striker ever. He doesn't have like the counters and like just the ability to switch stances and flow and have this athletic stance as much as like somebody like Israel Adesanya or like Sean O'Malley or anything like that. You watch like Israel and Sean and you watch Shara Magomedov, his striking is really good, but Israel and Sean, you can just see the athletic difference that these guys have when they're actually fighting and moving around in the cage and the octagon. And it's kind of, his style's kind of a little ploddy and a little bit, like, I guess more, it just doesn't have this athletic vibe to it. And I feel, I'm just going based off athletic vibe, but I do feel like Michael Venom Page is going to be quicker. I think he's going to be a little bit more like generally athletic with his in and out movement and stuff like that, and I think he's going to catch him a couple times. But I do think that Shara is going to just outpoint him, to be honest. Like, unless Michael ups his output or KOs him, it's going to be probably a third round decision for Shara, and that's kind of what I'm going with. I don't really see Shara knocking Michael Venom Page out. It's possible, maybe with one of those knees or something like that, or catching with a weird spinning elbow when he moves in, but I don't necessarily see it happening. As for the fight night, Israel Adesanya, he is fighting out in Nigeria. He's pretty much lived in Auckland his whole life. Anyways, Nassourdine versus Nassourdine Imavov. I'm a big fan of Israel, obviously, always have been. The decline is kind of depressing a little bit, but, it happens to literally every athlete at the top. Like, you can't stay on top forever, and also motivation comes and goes. So it is what it is. It is what it is. We're not happy about it, but we'll take it for what it is. Nassourdine Imavov, he's a good fighter. I watched his fight against Jared Cannonier. Jared Cannonier bothers me sometimes as well because he's one of those fighters that, again, like, he kind of just lets fights get away from himself. Like, maybe he's tired. Maybe he thinks he's higher up on the scorecard than he is, but he doesn't push right to the end. Like, there's something to be said about the fighters like Merab where they literally leave absolutely everything on the table. And, I mean, Jared Cannonier doesn't always do that. It's like Sean Strickland, where they both like act like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to war, we're gonna put everything on the table, and then half the time Sean Strickland's fights, he like doesn't go to war. He does his like punch me, fight me, points at the ground, and then throws one punch and then steps back when another guy tries to throw a punch, which I get, but like you can't be like, yo, let's throw down right here in the middle and then step back right after you say that. But Nassourdine Imavov totally does that, and he pressures people and he puts a pace on people. Not necessarily, he does put a decent pace on people, but he is there to throw. If you want to throw, he is there to throw. And I mean, he put a beating on Jared Cannonier, and that's a good win for sure. In the Israel versus Jared Cannonier fight, I felt like Jared just didn't try enough. Like, again, output enough. I know it's hard when you have Israel who's on the outside, kicking you, punching you, keeping you at range. But there has to be a point where, like, if that is happening to you, you just have to say, fuck it. If I get knocked out, I get knocked out. But it's like third, fourth round. I'm not going to win if I keep going like this. I have to step into the fire and see what happens. And that's something like what we saw with like Khalil Rountree versus Alex Pereira. He was willing to get into these exchanges with Alex Pereira because he knew he couldn't win at range the way he was doing it. And yes, did he lose? Did he get knocked out? Absolutely. But that was his only chance. And again, we've seen that with Jared Cannonier versus Adesanya, like just not the willingness to like really just say, fuck it. Like, I can't win the way I'm trying to, and I need to I need to just go all in and accept the results for whatever it is. I feel like Nassourdine Imavov is going to have that. DDP had that. Like, DDP is like, okay, like, I'll throw myself in the fire and we'll see what happens, right? And I think that's something that, again, I mean, obviously Israel Adesanya is going to be the better striker. He's probably going to outpoint and, snipe him on the outside. They're both tall, but Israel's got the longer reach and everything like that. I just think that after a while, like maybe 1-2 rounds of Israel doing that, Nassourdine's going to be like, okay, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to go and I'm going to come forward and I'm going to take some shots. He's got a great chin, Nassourdine, and he's going to come forward, take some shots, and he's going to try to pressure and outland Israel. And we've seen him. That's where he's had his hardest fights, Israel, is when he's been pressured by people relatively his size that are, okay taking a punch, like Poatan and stuff like that. So I do see this being, I mean, I can't go against Israel. I think he's probably going to win. I'm hoping he wins. I do see the possibility of Nassourdine, stepping into that fire and actually making Israel, like, feel uncomfortable and, saying, you know what, fuck it. Like, if I'm going for broke. If I win, great. If I don't win, fuck, that sucks. But I'm going to do everything I can to win. Like, I don't see Nassourdine just, doing 5 rounds of him just getting slightly outpointed and losing a decision. I don't see that happening. I see him like, okay, like 4th, 5th round, I know I'm losing. I'm just going to step into the fire and I'm going to see what's possible. So for that reason, I mean, I do think he has a really good chance, but I'm going to go with Israel Adesanya. And yeah, guys, that's my full fight card prediction / breakdown for UFC Fight Night, Saudi Arabia. This is my first one ever, guys. I know I'm probably not good yet. I'm probably still dog shit, but that's all right. We're going to put out more. I enjoy making content. That's it. So for probably the 0 viewers that see this, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't already, subscribe. And doses. Oh, fucked up my camera. All right, bye, guys.